Hey everyone, welcome to Makin Scents. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate seeing you here. And if this is your first time checking out my channel, welcome aboard. Today we're going to talk about 4 fragrances from the house of Paco Rabanne. Stay tuned. So like I said, today we're going to be talking about fragrances from the house of Paco Rabanne, and specifically the 1 Million line. Now, the 1 Million line indoor fragrances have been around for a while now, starting with, of course, Paco Rabanne 1 Million. This was considered a club banger, super popular fragrance for date night, things like that. It was talked about a lot for a good group of years, and then they released multiple flankers along the way. I personally own 4 fragrances from the 1 Million line. I own 1 Million, 1 Million Prive, 1 Million Lucky, and 1 Million Parfum. And we're going to talk about the 4 today. I'm not going to go into a complete notes breakdown. I will, just because some people really do like to hear the Fragrantica notes in a sense, or what they have listed in Fragrantica. I'll read those off to you so you can not have to look it up as well. But we're going to go through basically my take on the fragrances, what I think about them. I'm not going to go crazy into, like I said, the note side of it. And I'm going to let you know what I think of them and rank them 1 through 4. It's just my personal preference on what I think about these fragrances. So let's get started. We're going to start with the original, this bad boy right here. I'm going to try to angle it so you can see it clearly. It's 1 Million, looks like a big brick. The light's hard to angle properly, but I'm going to wiggle it a little bit. According to Fragrantica, it is warm, spicy, cinnamon, citrus, amber, woody, leather, rose, animalic, green, and patchouli. It's a big brick. It has this thing on top, if you can see that as well. It is a really cool presentation, in my opinion. It's just a big brick. Maybe it's easier to see back here. I have the big bottles of these. I haven't worn this a ton, but I did wear it, of course, more than enough to give my personal take on it. What we're going to do today, though, is we're going to be spraying on tester strips instead of my hand and my arm, because I have worn it enough. I just want a fresh spray. And it's funny because, to me, I always affiliate this fragrance with someone dressed up for a night out on the town, a good time, just having, going to pick up a girl or pick up a guy, whatever the thing is. And I remember smelling people like this when I would DJ in different bars and clubs, and it would always smell really good. And once in a great while, as a frag head, I would ask people what they were wearing because I wanted to know. And a lot of times it was Paco Rabanne 1 Million. Yeah, so this one here to me is just, it's funny because when I spray it on paper or on this tester strip, it reminds me, it's a little bit more fresh than I remember. So I always thought it was like I think of it as a warm, dank, like really rich fragrance, kind of like in the same line of Jean-Paul Gaultier Ultramale or the original Lamal back in the day, like 97, 98 or so. It's a very nice fragrance. Many people think it's dated. I'm a fan of the DNA, hence the fact that I have 4 of the bottles. I don't wear this one ever, though. In reality, it's not something I wear a lot. Do I enjoy it? Yes. I have this big bottle. Yes. I also have a smaller bottle, like 100 ml or so as well. Because, let's face it, I am addicted to buying fragrances. At the same time, I do decant some of these things at times and put them available through different groups and such, to get some of the money back to pay for the next fragrance to review or to look at or to have in the collection, of course. Ultimately, it's for the YouTube channel too, which is cool because we get to all benefit from this stuff. Yeah, this is a fresh, spicy, a little spicy, not like pepper or anything like that, but kind of like seasonal spicy. You would think of from like the fall, winter type deal. This is usable technically all year long, but people do find it cloying when it comes to like summertime when it's really hot outside. But again, I've definitely smelt it in the bars and clubs, and it's a nice fragrance. Lasts probably, the original batch, I don't know if there really is a big variation or not. I have not looked into the actual breakdown or the chemical mixture. But it used to last like 8 hours. It was easily running for a long time. You could spray this on. If you sprayed more than 2 sprays, you were probably being obnoxious, but many people sprayed probably 6+. I would say if I was wearing this today, I'd probably go with at least 4 still, just because me personally, I would choose to wear this in the fall, most likely even the winter time because of how strong it is and how rich it smells. But it does have that fresh take in there. I don't know what that's from. But yeah, very nice fragrance. We're talking about Paco Rabanne 1 million. I'll put the bottle up one more time, or else I'll do it like this. Just because it looks like it's coming in clear. Hopefully it did. The next one we're going to talk about, I'm going to toss this little strip aside so I don't mix them up on you. The next one we're going to talk about is Paco Rabanne 1 million Prive. Let's see if I can move this for you. And try to, yeah, that one comes a little bit clearer. It's probably even clearer when you guys looking at it than what I'm looking at, but whatever works. According to Fragrantica, it's warm, spicy, cinnamon, sweet, amber, tobacco, vanilla, citrus, balsamic, aromatic, and patchouli. The cool part about this one has a little plaque on here. I'm going to move it like this again. Hopefully it does stay clear enough to see. The plaque on it's kind of cool. It's still the same design. Everything's pretty much the same. The one is raised on the original 1 million. It's completely flat without the placards. You see it there, comparison to this one. The one on this one is raised and the placard for Prive. Now this one here, to me, is a richer take on the original fragrance. So I'm trying to get a tester strip. I'm going to spray it again. This has the same thing on the top as far as the button for spraying. So it's pretty cool. To take these apart to decant them, you have to pull the bottom down here, pull it all apart. I don't know if you can even see that. But down here, there's like this. It's really hard to get there. There you go. See that little tab right there? You have to pop that over and pull the face off of the entire bottle. You get the top off, and a lot of times you break it when you do that. So this one, yeah, so this one's definitely richer. The other one's a little bit fresher, the original. This one's richer. It's either a tobacco or, I don't know if you want to call it boozy or not. In my nose right now, it's like a tobacco boozy type. This is a sexy fragrance. So Prive is a very sexy fragrance. This is one that I personally choose to wear a lot during the fall and winter. I didn't just buy the big bottle on this one to use it to decant and make up some of the revenue and whatnot. This is a good one to use when you're doing testing with other people, sending out samples, decants, things like that as well. But more importantly, it smells awesome. And when you're involved in the fragrance community the way that we are, it's awesome having a fragrance that you truly trust as an automatic winner, if that makes sense. For me, 1 million Prive is one of those. But it's like a warm, spicy, it's like tobacco, cinnamon, boozy something. I don't even know if it's actually boozy or not, but for me, like I said, I'm not going to go crazy into the actual true notes that are in everything. I just read off the accords through Fragrantica to make it so you guys could hear what they say is supposedly there and give you my opinion on what I smell. But this is just a great fragrance. It's definitely darker and richer than the original. Smells so good though. So this one here, I also get good performance. I skipped over part of the description on the 1 million itself. True projection, where it's blasting off of you, you probably get that between 3 to 4 hours at least. You might even get it up to 6 hours depending on how much you sprayed, if it got on your clothing or not. And like I said, it lasts easily 8+ hours, at least the original. And you know, when I've worn it, as far as Prive, I don't get as much performance out of it as I do the original fragrance. It might be because I like it so much and I just want to spray it more. That could be the case. I'm all about having a decant with me to refresh because I personally enjoy the fragrance as well. So when I normally wear Prive, I know I get 2 to 4 hours of some sort of nice projection. If the wind hits me, it wafts by or something like that, or I get in my clothes and I scratch my nose real quick and it's down here for some reason, I can still smell it. So I would say 6 to 8 hours again is probably what you're getting performance on this. You could get a little bit more if you're including skin scent, where it's just a little remnant if you're stiff your hand in your nose or your clothing against your face one more time. But really, you're getting that 6 hour performance with lasting beyond that to 8 hours or so. There's nothing wrong with that. Definitely cool. But yeah, that's 1 million Prive. Pull up the bottle one more time. 1 million Prive. Hard to get the light right because there's only one light over here. Excuse me. The third one we're going to talk about today is another flanker, of course, and it's 1 million Lucky. Now, when this first came out, I was pretty excited to try to get it in my collection, and I seriously think I went to over 20 Marshalls, TJ Maxx, things like that, waiting to see if someone was going to have it in one of those stores, because at the time I didn't really want to spend the extra money. Sorry about the little fingerprints from picking it up. But there you go. You can see that one pretty clear. That's 1 Million Lucky. Again, this has the placards as well. This one's woody, sweet, nutty, honey, fruity, ozonic, or ozonic, whichever way you want to say it. Citrus, amber, and floral, according to Fragrantica. I'm going to put it back here. Try to angle it for you one more time. There you go. This one here is really cool. It has what everyone talks about as like an almond accord, something like that to it. And you can smell there's something. I don't know if it's almond. It's some sort of a nut. I don't know exactly. I think it is almond. But whatever it is, smells cool. I'm going to throw a spray on the tester here. So yeah. So this one is a lighter, brighter, more, I don't want to say super fresh, but it's got this thing in the background, which it makes my nose tingle. I've mentioned this before in regards to like something like, for some reason, Armaf Opus has this thing where it makes my nose tingle, and I love it. I don't know what it is, but it gives me this like tingle effect in the top or back of my nose that it smells really good. To me, this is a fresher take on the DNA. It's definitely, you can tell they're all in the same family, all in the same lines. It's like three brothers standing side by side. You know they're related, but one of them looks just a hairline different because of whatever, or each one looks a little bit different. That's what these are. They're all from the same family, all the same DNA. And really, if you like one, there's a good chance you like them all. I would say so far of the three I've talked about, Lucky is the most different. So it's brighter. It's got that, whatever that almond note or whatever that thing is. And that special something that stands out to my nose that I personally enjoy, that makes my nose literally tingle. It's not like Ambroxan or something like that I can pinpoint, but whatever it is about this fragrance, every time I smell it, I just enjoy it. I've worn this to work. People have complimented about it. I've worn all these, gotten compliments except for the original one. There's nothing to do with that. It's just I haven't worn that as much. Like anything else, the more you wear a fragrance, the more often you're going to get compliments on it because you're giving more opportunity for someone to say something positive about it. With 1 Million Lucky, the first time I wore it, I got a compliment, which was pretty cool. I picked it up at a Marshall's. It was a small bottle like this. It wasn't even a half of these. It wasn't even 100 ml. It was small. It might have been 50 or something ml. It was a cool little bottle. Then I found a 100 ml bottle. And then from the 100 ml bottle, I went ahead and I got this one. I traded somebody for this big bottle. So it was pretty cool. When that happened, I was just, not to say wowed right away with this, but my expectations that I had set pretty high were met. So performance-wise, I get least amount of performance so far out of the top three that I've talked about here, these first three out of Lucky. But that just might be because I could become, I think it's agnostic, or I don't know the word, but where you don't completely smell what it is anymore because you've basically developed almost like an immunity to it where you go nose blind. So ultimately, I think that happens to me with this sometimes. I'm just not positive if that's what the case is because I'll stop smelling it in a sense, but then I'll walk through a door and I might dust through with some wind and I get it back and I smell a big waft of it, which is similar to something like BR 540 from Amazing Francis Kirchen. So this one here, though, there is a fresh, spicy part that sticks out along with like whatever that almond type of chord or whatever that additive is that's right there. It's definitely brighter than the other two that I talked about so far. Performance, though, like I said, you're getting 2 to 4 hours max of any type of a projection. You definitely get at least an hour and a half, 2.5 hours on a normal day without a problem with something, wafting off of you. You still get some sort of projection, 4 to 5 hours, give or take, depending on the weather and when you wear it. This one I believe I choose to wear this one more in the springtime, sometimes in the summer, sometimes in the fall. I don't reach for this much in the winter. I don't really know why, but I tend not to grab this so much in the winter because, actually I'm talking out loud, but it's because I go for Prive in the winter more often than not. So, yeah, this is a very nice fragrance. Fresh, spicy, still has a little bit of a warmth to it. I don't know if it's sweet. It's got, there might be some woody undertones or some sort of woody components to it as well, which might be what gives it that little extra something, but it's nice. It's just a bright, sweet, There's some sort of citrus in there too, but it's bright, sweet. Just, it's a cool fragrance, but it's one to me that if you don't like fragrances like this, and what I mean by that is that are just a tad bit different with something that's sharp and sticks out on its own, then there's going to be a few other fragrances like that you may not like. Fragrances that remind me, this isn't similar fragrance, but that do the same thing to my nose are Opus by Armaf, Kobe by Zaharoff, this fragrance, 1 Million Lucky by Paco Rabanne, and there's a few other ones, but those are the first three that just stick out in my mind every time I get that nose tingle. It's weird to say tingle, but hey, that's what it is. So once again, yes, I do like this. I like all of these, just by the way, because I've already said that pretty much. That's 1 Million Lucky. Oops. Let me get that in focus for you. By Paco Rabanne. That's the third one in the mix that we talked about today. And last but not least is the newest release from the 1 Million line. I got this in 2020, because that's when it came out. And we're looking at, oops, for some reason my hand does not hold this properly. Let's try this one more time. Yeah, my sleeves caught on something. Sorry, guys. So we got, that looks pretty nice. This placard on this is awesome looking too. That's 1 Million Parfum, which is white floral, tuberose, amber, animalic, woody, salty, tropical leather, musky, and coconut. So this is just a bit different than the other ones with the breakdown. To me, when I picked this up, I was pretty excited about it. I didn't buy a ton of brand new fragrances in 2020 because of everything going on with the wild world. But we're excited to get back to 2021 and look forward to a lot more fragrances to review. So I sprayed this on the tester strip as well. I have worn this a few times, probably less than 10, but at least 10 times or just under. All right, so this one here, I kind of want to go back to smell. I'm going to smell the face of this one for a second. All right. So 1 Million Parfum. I really enjoy this one as well. So again, I've told you I like all four of these. They're all nice to me. I've already told you that I personally haven't worn 1 Million as much as I probably should because I've had it in my collection for a while now, and it's just not something I always reach for. And maybe it's because in my mind it's outdated. Is it really? I mean, if you wear it, it smells good. I've talked to people that smell good and they wear it as well. As far as 1 Million Parfum goes, this is a more modern take on the original DNA and then some. So there's more to this. It's more complex in my nose. This gives me similar tingle in my nose. Not the same thing. It's not as like able to pinpoint my nose getting that weird tingle from the fragrance. But this has so many nice attributes to it. I think the white floral or whatever that component is that they have in this is what makes the difference in this fragrance. With Paco Rabanne 1 Million Parfum, it's just, it does something right. And I don't know how to say that any more than it does something right. It's fresh. It's rich. It's not really like crazy spicy at all, but it's got some spice in there. It's a nice blend of richness. I'm going to say pretty and masculine or musky or whatever this is that this mixture comes to. And to me, this is blended really well. Nothing sticks out like crazy to me right now when I'm smelling this. I think I said there was coconut in there. I could be smelling that, but honestly, that gives this another cool angle. Kind of like 1 Million Lucky with that almond note or whatever that thing is that stands out to me. This has something like that as well. So the performance on 1 Million Parfum has been really nice for me. I've gotten 2.5 to 4 hours of, actually 2.5 hours major projection or whatever you want to call it. 2 to 2.5 when I've worn this. I've only really worn this through the winter, but a lot of times we're indoors, so I haven't been able to test it as much as I normally would. As if I wore like 1 Million pre-day, which I've worn out in the normal weather when everyone's out doing crazy activities and all that kind of stuff. With 1 Million Parfum, I have been indoors more often. And when I'm wearing it, I do get it on my clothing, things like that. So I do need another winter season, we'll say, to really give this a shot to see how it goes. But from what I see so far, I'm very impressed with the fragrance. Performance, like I said, 2.5 hours to 4. You're getting some sort of still projection. It's not a skin scent until 6 hours to 8, somewhere in that range. So these are all pretty much universal. You're going to get, you got the original most performance out of the original fragrance back in the day. The current variation, if there is a big variation or not, or if they pulled some sort of a, item out of the mixture, I still get pretty much across the board somewhere from 2 to 2.5 hours where I have what I consider like some sort of a projection off of my body into my clothing. From 2.5 to 4, there's still something projecting. And from 4 to 8, somewhere in that realm, it fades down to above a skin scent. And within that last 6, 7, or 8 hour, whatever that time frame is exactly, depending on the fragrance, that's when it goes down to more of a skin scent. Or if you get in your clothing, you get a little bit more performance as well because it doesn't break down with your oils and your body, chemistry in a sense, from what I see. So with 1 Million Parfum, another banger, just a really great fragrance for a designer. Nothing too crazy. The price tag's not bad. This is a huge bottle. I mean, this 200 ml, 6.8 fluid ounces. I mean, really? I think it's 100 and something bucks for that big bottle. It's not bad at all. And you can get smaller versions, and some of the rack stores have some of these fragrances at times, which just become beneficial to everyone involved. So now we're going to get to the point. It's just really a nice fragrance. And have I gotten compliments on this one when I've worn it? Yes. Have I worn it enough to garnish a ton of compliments? No. The most compliments I would get would be from Prive and from Lucky because I've worn those the most. So once again, just to put the bottle up for you, the one I was just talking about is this one here, 1 Million Parfum. So now we're going to talk about my personal rankings of these fragrances. We're going to start with number 4. Okay, so we got 4 fragrances to talk about from this house, this line. And we're going to go with the OG, the original 1 Million. My guess is you already knew this based on everything else I've said so far. Great fragrance, smells nice. Is it dated? I don't know. Am I dated? I could be. So personally, it's a nice fragrance to me. I enjoy the fragrance, and I see no reason why just because it's the original, it can't be a banger still. It smells really nice, and we'll see where we go next. So from there, this was a toss-up. I was going back and forth between my number 2 and my number 3, and I couldn't decide what it was going to be. Number 1 was pretty easy, although that may change within the next year. That's all I'm going to say for now. Number 3 right now, though, is a surprise to me because I thought this would be number 2, and I still thought it was going to be number 2 until I finally decided to write down a hard choice. And number 3 is 1 Million Lucky. So I love the fragrance. It smells awesome. It has that thing that, triggers my nose a bit where I just really enjoy it. Performance is great. The overall, if you're focused on getting compliments, they're great as well when people get to smell it, if they're not hidden behind the mask or something. It's just a really nice fragrance. So number 4 was the original 1 Million. Number 3, we're looking at 1 Million Lucky. Number 2 was the one in battle with number 3. Number 1 was a pretty solid pick in my opinion, but we're going to go right now between 1 Million Parfum and 1 Million Prive. And which one is going to be number 3? Oh, no, 2. Number 2, this guy right here, 1 Million Parfum. Like I said, I need to give this more wearings, but man, I love this juice. It just smells so good. For me anyways. It's just really that rich, whatever that floral component is that they added, that isn't like rose, that's and I say like rose, but it isn't over the top. It doesn't just stand out, and it isn't too much of anything. It's just very well blended. So 1 Million Parfum is number 2. So again, we got 1 Million Lucky, and then we have 1 Million Parfum as number 2, and number 1, you have to know because there's only 4 fragrances, is 1 Million Prive. This is just based on the fact that I personally love this fragrance. I wear it all the time. I wear it a ton. I probably wear between this one, in the wintertime anyways, and what is it? Zaharoff Wanted by Night. I wear those two possibly the most in the wintertime, except for this year where I lost my sense of smell for a bit. I used Blue Cedar and Cypress by Cremo, but that's because it just was in my car. It's very inexpensive, and it was an easy filler. So again, out of the Paco Rabanne line, 1 Million Prive for me is my number 1 out of the 4 that I own or that I've ever tested. Now, if you could do me a favor down below, let me know in the comments what you think. What would be your favorite fragrance from the house of Paco Rabanne in the 1 million line? Is it one of these 4? Is it one that I don't have that I didn't mention? I know there's a few other flankers out there or different versions that came out. Throw those comments down below. Let me know what you think. List your 1 through 4 down there. Let me know what you think. If you've never tried all 4, list your 1 through 3, 1 through 2, whatever it might be, or just your favorite. Love hearing from you. Love comments down there so I can reply. I do try to react and or respond to every single person down there. While you're down there, if you enjoy this type of video, this content, please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Click the notification bell, and if you like this specific video, go ahead and click that like button. I'd really appreciate it. That's pretty much it for today. One quick recap. My number 4, Paco Rabanne 1 million. Number 3, Lucky. Number 2, 1 Million Parfum. And number 1, Prive. Remember, if you're making the world a better place, just one spray at a time, then to me, you're just making sense. Until next time.